Welcome back to the show. I'm calling today's episode Love After Loss. And I know some wonderful people who went through the unspeakable tragedy and sadness and sorrow of losing their mate. But God has another thing in mind for them, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm so happy to have Kristine Koehn King now
Yes, ma'am.
and her brand new groom, Vernon King, with us today. And Kristine, we were just talking about how we've known each other a while,
We
and
have. Our kids
long
went to
time ago
school
you were
together
on the
and yeah,
podcast talking about
neighbors.
having to do with sobriety
Mm-hmm.
and your very open journey
Mm-hmm.
with alcohol addiction.
I
And
am. I am Christine. I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I've had the gift of sobriety since March 14th, 2012. And for that I am eternally grateful.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So podcast and all, our familiarity with each other. And then a few years ago, your husband went through a horrific illness. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you both got sick with the flu.
He did. We did. Yes, it was the beginning of 2024 last year.
Hmm.
And April 15th we were both diagnosed with swabbed positive for influenza A. And within 48 hours he was paralyzed and on a ventilator, and it was the craziest thing. um, the doctors were just bewildered. They just had no idea what was happening. It was an ascending paralysis. We he we both felt awful, and I had looked at him and I said, "Why don't we just go into the bedroom and lay down, shut the blinds, turn the fans on?" And he said, "I can't move my legs." And I just thought, my gosh, this flu is kicking your butt, and it didn't click. I mean, this a flu, for gosh sakes. But I ended up having to call an ambulance because he couldn't get out of the chair. And by about midnight that night, it had started and had gone up to his waist, and they were afraid that his lungs were going to become paralyzed, so they had to put him on a ventilator, and sedate him. And that started a 66-day um, journey. I have to call it a journey.
Well, it was, and you chronicled it.
Yeah,
We're Facebook friends,
yeah.
and you documented every step. It
You know
seemed
what, and
like.
I had to, namely because we were here in Waco for a week, and then they care flighted him to Dallas, and
Hmm.
and all my kids are here, and so for them to just drop by 2 hours from now, just away, it wasn't possible. So I was by myself a lot,
Yeah.
and I felt so disconnected. And so how I felt connected was doing videos and lives, just giving updates, and it was an easy way to update all of our family and friends at one time. But looking back now, I value that so much because I can just see God in the entire thing.
Mm.
I can see God's hand in all of that craziness.
Yeah, and he far too young. He was how old was your
Well,
husband?
yeah, he had just turned 72.
Okay.
He was 18 years my senior. But he could run circles
I
around
was
me.
going to say that's
He
trust me, that's young.
Right. Well, and he was very, very healthy. He
Yeah,
had
right.
he
That's the
had
thing.
no other
Hmm.
illnesses, chronic illnesses that would have the flu exacerbated or anything like that. His on his death certificate is influenza A.
Yeah.
And again, we care flighted to Dallas. We were there for a little over 3 weeks, and then he went into a long-term recovery place in Temple, and then Baylor Scott and White Rehab. And so it was a series of 66 days, and
And it seemed like he was going to get
it
better.
seemed like he was getting better. He was
Yeah.
able to use his arms, albeit not great control, but it looked like
Yeah.
he was getting better. But it came a point where he had that he was they had to take the ventilator out, after I think it was 11 days. Because it just really starts to do damage, more hurt than good after a period of time. So they put a trach in, a
Hmm.
tracheostomy, I think is what they call it. And so, but there came a point in time at the Baylor rehab where they're like, the pulmonologist was, we have to keep moving forward. And he said, we need to take the trach out. And Rick was like, yeah. let's do that. And so they did that, and within 48 hours he was gone. But yeah, it really did look like he was getting better. Baylor Rehab would have never taken him if he
Right.
wasn't improving, because you are required to do 3 hours of productive, and it just got to where he was really tired, and it was about a week before before he passed. And again, I had no reason to believe that this was going to go any way other than getting better and going home. He might be in a wheelchair, and I was trying to find someone to build a ramp at the house and what have you. But there came a point in time where he I'm watching television, and because I was there every waking hour that I could be there, and he said, I come over here. And so I went over, and he said, I was taking notes every day that what the doctor would say, so I could remind him what the update from the doctors were. And he said, grab your pad and pen. And so I went to his bedside, and he said, and he looked at me, and he had been a little flighty, and I just attributed, and the doctors attributed it to just being in the hospital for so long. He would forget things and stuff. And so, but the way he looked at me this time, it was as if he was looking into my soul. And he said, I need you to promise me something. And I said, what's that? And he said, I need you to promise me that you'll never settle for anything less than what I have given you. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, when I'm gone, he said, I want you to remarry someday. I want you to find someone that will protect your recovery, that respects you, that will take care of you. He just listed this laundry list of the man that he would want to take his place. And it was, and of course in that moment I'm like, shut up, you're not going anywhere. You're too mean to die, and I was brushing it off, but he would look at me and he said, I need you to pay attention. I need you to, he said, I mean this. And I'm like, okay, and I wrote it down. And it was the next day that he said, he looked at me and he said, I'm tired. I want to go home. And I said, I know you want to go home. He said, no, I want to go home.
A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
Shift had a body in his truck, he had yet to deal with Saul.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
And that's when I thought, okay, what is happening? Are you being dramatic? Or what's happening? And he asked to see a family friend, a gentleman that had been running our business, our daughter, and our doctors, our family doctors. And within that Saturday, um, Ken showed up, and Rick told him the same thing. He said, I'm tired. I want to go home. I need you to watch after her." And and Ken was, prayed with him. And then Ben showed up, and Rick said, "I expect you to treat my business like it's your own." And he pointed at me and he said, "And I expect you to take care of her. I just want to go home." Our daughter, so he said the exact same words to each one of us.
Wow.
Our family doctor came, and he looked at Tracy and said, "I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I want to go home." And so it was, that was just, and I still didn't get it, right? I still didn't go, "Oh, he's dying." I just thought, okay, maybe I just didn't get it. But after that day, because he couldn't, his hands had drawn in a little bit, so he couldn't like point perfectly, right? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was watching television, and I look over at him, and he's asleep, but he's talking, right? And he perfectly points at the wall, and is saying things like, he said, "Mom's gonna be here."
Oh,
Really? I've got video of this. And at one point he would, as he was air quotes sleeping, right, he would, it looked like he was hugging someone, and he would go to kiss, he would pucker and kiss, and I'm thinking, who are you kissing, And when he would wake up, I said, what were you dreaming about? And he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And in looking back, Anne, I can see that his spirit was leaving briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that with my entire being.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
His spirit was getting ready. It was getting ready, and he was at peace. And it was just the craziest. It was the craziest, most beautiful thing. It wasn't beautiful in the moment, right? It was weird. It was like, what is happening?
But looking back, it's got to be a comfort.
Oh, it was. It's glorious.
Yeah.
It's glorious in that it's confirmation, and all the things that the Bible says, and all the things that Jesus said, and all the things that we hope, right? We hope that that where we're going after this life is a good thing, and that we're not going to be by ourselves. Then it's not scary, but the peace that was over his face was just beautiful. It was beautiful. And then June 21st, I got a call, and let me back up. Our daughter had shown up on the 19th, and Rick was not really acting himself, and he had said to me, he said, "You know what?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Friday morning, I'm going to cook breakfast for our family and friends." That was his love language, was cooking. He loved cooking for our family and friends. And I said, "You are?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What are you going to make?" And he's, and he said, "Eggs." And he started down. I'm saying, "Are you going to do biscuits or croissant?" I'm just giving him a hard time, because I'm like, "You ain't cooking nothing, because you can't even stand up." And so Brittany showed up that afternoon, and I said, "Well, you never get," Rick was looking over at her. And I said, "You're never going to guess what your dad said." And she said, "What?" I said, "He's going to cook breakfast for us Friday morning." She's like, "You are," and she gave him a hard time. And Friday morning, I'd kissed him goodbye on Thursday night, and leaving because and I went home to sleep. And Friday morning, about 6:05, I get a phone call, and it's the nurse, and she said, "You need to come up here. His oxygen levels have dropped dramatically, and he's not responding." And even in that moment, I'm like, "Well, what? Here's something really stupid. I'm going to say something that makes me sound really stupid. I didn't know that giving someone oxygen, on the face mask thing, I didn't know that was a life support. You know what I mean? I knew it was an assist, but I had no idea it was a life support type thing. And I know that sounds crazy, but she said, "We've had to increase his oxygen to a certain amount." Yeah. And I said, "Well, okay, so is that a deal?" And the doctor immediately took the phone from her and said, "Kristine, come here." And I said, okay, I'll be there in a minute. And so that was Friday morning when he said he was going to cook breakfast for us. Yeah. And so I get there, and he's not responsive. He didn't open his eyes or anything. And the hospice doctor had come by, and she said, you want you want to get him home, don't you? And that's when I thought, oh, you mean he's leaving?
Yeah.
And I had no idea how, I thought we were going to go home on hospice, and, it was, you hear hospice and it's, months later, someone passes or whatnot.
Right.
And I said, I've never wanted anything more, because Rick and I had had that conversation.
He wanted
we
to be
would love
home.
to. Yeah. And thus started about a 2-hour, it was a Three Stooges show, watching everybody go, running around, trying to make it happen. And we end up in an ambulance to take us home, and it's only from Hillcrest to to where we live. And we leave and get to the light, and the ambulance driver forgot the paperwork, so I had to turn around because and then the one of the head nurses said, "You're to the ambulance driver, your only job is to get this man home alive." And in that moment I thought, oh my gosh, he's like leaving. So we get him home, and 2.5 hours later, he leaves with so many family and friends around him, his favorite music playing. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. He left on his terms. And the night he was in the emergency room, that first night, I ran home to get a change of clothes. And I made that first video where I said, pray for us. Pray for us. And I didn't say, please pray that he get better. Please pray that I just said, please pray for God's will for us.
Yeah.
I want him home. I want him home with me. And my prayer the entire time was, God, either send him home to me or take him home to you. And on June 21st, I got both. Yeah. I got to take him home, and then the Lord called him home, and it was just it was a beautiful thing. It really, really was.
Kristine, so much more I want to hear. Need to hear Vernon's story now, but we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Vernon King about his beautiful wife and what happened there, and then their story, how they got put together. So stay with us. There's more of the show ahead. Today's show is brought to you by Gather & Co., where they are transforming houses into homes.
With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
If your home's feeling a bit dated or you're dreaming of that beautiful outdoor oasis, I have got the team for you. Gather & Co., the family-owned remodeling pros right here in Greater Waco since 1998. Led by the Falconberry family, they specialize in stunning kitchen and bathroom makeovers. Think custom walk-in showers, sleek cabinetry, and aging-in-place upgrades for easy living. They also nail outdoor spaces with pergolas, patio covers, sunrooms, and screen rooms that turn your backyard into a year-round retreat. What sets them apart? Personalized designs, top-notch craftsmanship, and a hassle-free process for free in-home consultations to spot-on completion, plus financing options to make it simple. Customers love them, raving about the friendly crew and attention to every detail. Ready to gather in your dream home? Call Gather & Co. today, 254-759-1147 for a no-obligation quote. Visit GatherCoRemodeling.com. Your remodel starts here.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
And we're back with Kristine and Vernon King talking about how their lives got put together after having lost their spouse, their longtime spouse. And so, Vernon, tell me your story. Where you're not even from Central Texas, right?
I'm not. Thanks for having us, Ann. Appreciate being here. I am from Maryland, born and raised in Maryland, right outside of the nation's capital.
Yeah, which is a beautiful part of the country. So how did you end up in Waco and have the opportunity to meet this lady?
God. Nothing short of God. I'm not much of a social media guy. I was one day on Facebook, and all of a sudden, this lady's picture pops up. And as soon as I see the picture, and you got to understand, I don't know any of the same people she knows, haven't been to the same places she's been. I had 29 friends on Facebook, and probably none of them liked me. And at any rate, when her picture popped up, God spoke to me, and God said, I want you to call this lady. I saw nothing but pain in her. And,
Really?
and it was the pain that I understood, because it was the exact pain that I had when I lost my beautiful wife of 42 years.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, I want you to call her, reach out to her and call her. And of course, God and I have a very unique relationship. And I'm like, look, I'm talking to God, and I'm like, you want me to do what?
I don't even know this lady.
And he said, I want you to reach out and call her.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I reached out. I just left a name and a number, no message. I didn't know whether she would respond or not, but I did. And what I didn't know was she typically blocks those. She's so big in social media that you have headhunters and things like that, and she just blocks, messages like that because it's usually a sales tactic or something,
Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't thinking along the lines of that at all. But at any rate, she called me back and got my voicemail, and then we finally hooked up. And I remember our first conversation. I said to her, this is going to be really a strange conversation, but God wanted me to call you and pray with you. And I said, I explained to her that I had a wife of 42 years, and I lost her, and I recognized the pain. And I'm a minister, an ordained minister in Maryland. I'm a long ways away from you, but I knew this is something that God wanted me to do, and that's where the connection began.
So tell me about your wife.
So my wife, her and I met in high school. We were high school sweethearts, and I was working at a gas station, and she came in to get gas, and we were the same age. At the time we met, we were probably 16 or so, 17. We went to different high schools, and she came in, and I saw her talking to one of my friends that was working with me. And when she left, I looked at the guy. I said, "Who's that girl?" And he says, "Well, it's a friend of mine. She sits behind me in math in school." And I said, "Well, I want to meet her." And so apparently he went back and told her, and she came back to get more gas. And
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have kids?
3 children later, and 5 grandchildren.
Oh.
And then in May of 2022, God decided to call her home with she had colon cancer, and so my life changed dramatically on that day.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
And you had no idea how much more dramatically it was going to change.
Correct, for sure.
I was privileged, my husband and I, to come to your wedding.
I'm so grateful.
It was
that you
so beautiful. And of course, I just feel like I learned so much more about your story just through your vows that you wrote to each other, but just the remarkable nature of how you met and how you just felt like this was, you didn't have any choice. Really, God just sort of said, okay.
Yeah, well, and you know, just like Vernon said, when he called, you know, in that moment, because I had been so out there with the story and everything, at one point I had handed my daughter my phone because it was 8,239 different messages, you know, and it was just overwhelming, the love and the prayers. And so I would get voicemails, you know, with prayers. And so what I heard when Vernon called was, can I pray for you? And I thought, well, sure, you're a nice man, you know. And he started praying, and I'm like, oh, we're doing this now. And so we, you know, and so he just ended that conversation with, you know, do you mind if I check in on you every now and then? And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, you know. And it was a couple of weeks later that we had another conversation, and Rick and I had dreams of doing something for women, some type of a living situation for women that had come out of treatment and what have you. We were in the works, you know, really in the weeds with doing that. And I'd shared that with Vernon because Vernon lost a son to an overdose. So, and he had no experience with addiction before his son overdosed. And so that was a world that he was unfamiliar with, that he had experienced. And I, in turn, could hear the pain and see the pain of that loss and that I could identify with. So it just was such a bond. But when I told him about, you know, the idea that we had for this women's thing, you know, he said, I've been thinking about doing the same thing here on my farm. He's got a farm up in Maryland, but he had been volunteering at a men's treatment center. And he had, instead of rejecting us in addiction, you know, after Troy passed away, he leaned in to this world, to, and it just it's a beautiful thing. But we, so just that type of a thing, that it was like, oh, okay, well, we're thinking along the same lines. And then I'll never forget, I was at a class in Bryan College Station, and Vernon hadn't yet accepted my Facebook friend request, and so
I didn't know how.
Yeah, he did.
You weren't the social media butterfly. Yeah.
No, he's yeah. And I texted him that morning. I said, if you don't accept my friend request, And so he did, and I'm in the middle of this class, and my phone is face up, and it lights up that Vernon King has accepted your friend request. So I tapped on it, because there's some things on a profile you can't see if you're not friends, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I opened his profile, I saw his birth date. And I immediately texted him, and I said, when is your birthday? Because I thought, because even my kids were afraid I was being scammed or something like that, for this. I mean, come on.
You never know.
You never know.
No. Right.
And in that moment, I thought, oh, okay, now you've gone too far, And so he immediately replied back, February 26th. That was Rick's birthday.
What?
That was Rick's birthday. And it was just one of those things where it's like, God, and it was in that moment. Of course, I think I texted him, I'm running for the border, because I don't know what's happening. This is too. At some point you have to stop calling these coincidences.
Yeah,
their handwriting, and Rick had very specific, very different handwriting. They're identical. The handwriting.
Really?
No, I just the things that.
Well, you remember you showed me a letter that he had written, and I thought I wrote it.
Yeah.
Really?
It just the things.
How interesting.
And so it's one of those things where at some point you just have to, because this was our first conversation was 3 weeks after Rick passed away.
Mm-hmm. It was very soon.
3 weeks.
You lost,
and even I thought, what, this is way too soon. And it took quite a few months before I saw this as anything but just having a really good friend that knew what it was like to lose a spouse. Because being in addiction, I know that there's no one that can speak to an addict like another person that's been through addiction.
Right.
And same along those lines, there's no one that can speak to a widow as someone who's lost a child. I could tell Vernon all day long, I know how you feel, but that's a lie. Mm-hmm. Praise God, I don't know how that feels. But you give a person who's lost a child, they can connect on a level that I could never connect with him on.
Yeah.
But it just, at some point it was, I was up in Maryland visiting with Vernon, and I was talking with my oldest daughter, and Erica. And Erica had said, I have to talk to you about this. This is too much. It's too soon.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it had to have
been
very shocking.
And I'll be honest, I hadn't stopped to consider anyone else's feelings. I hadn't. And in that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, because she said, Mom, you haven't even given me time to grieve.
Oh gosh.
And now you're wanting me to be happy. What? And I told her, and I said, you're right. I will book a flight home immediately. I said, but I have one question for you. How long do you want me to be by myself? Mm-hmm. How long do you want me to eat at my dinner table by myself? Or not have someone to come home to? How long is good for you? Is it 6 months or 2 years?
Yeah, what's the rule?
And in that moment, she thought, oh my gosh, I don't want you to experience that. I don't want you to experience any more pain, but just give me some and I thought, okay, so we came to an understanding, but they accepted him and love him. And it's really a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. The acceptance that I have witnessed.
Yeah. What about your family?
Well, I'm a nice guy though.
Well, you're all right.
You are a nice guy. He was not a scammer.
She thought I was.
What was funny because I said, how do I know you're not a hacker? And what's a hacker?
I didn't even know how to do that.
Oh my gosh.
I would not know the first thing in how to do that.
So then I'm showing her on my phone, I'm showing her, here's my house. Here's a car that I have. This is, and I'm showing her everything. And she's like, maybe you're the gardener.
Just the whole thing, I swear.
Well, but so how did your family react, Vernon?
My family, well, of course, Jeanette had been gone for 3 years. So mine was different. than what she experienced. However, they were very accepting, and they wanted me to be happy.
That's good.
And I looked at them and I said, I got a pretty good track record. I was married for 42 years, so my track record's pretty good. I think my picker's pretty good, and again, I knew the voice of God. And, I just knew that, and I knew that I was on the right track.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful wedding. I mean, and it was a big blowout white dress, the whole bit.
It was perfect.
It was.
When I started planning this, and just God was just planting things in my head, because I'd never had a wedding. Rick and I got married. Oh. We kind of eloped, if you will, to Mexico. We had a wedding down there, and so I had never experienced like shopping for a wedding dress. And all of my girls participated in that with me, and we had been to one shop, and I picked a dress, and it was done. And one of my daughters said, "No, you need to experience the full thing." And so of trying on different dresses. So we go to another local place, and they are behind the curtain, and I'm trying on dresses. I'm on like the fifth one of this thing, and I just said, I need to just go back and get the other one, and the girl came in with one more dress, and she said, I have this one, you want to try it? And I said, okay, fine. And so I loved the color because it wasn't a stark white, right? It was just, it was beautiful. And so I slipped it on, and she went to zip the back, and over the radio, but they had music playing over the radio, At Last.
Oh my.
started playing, which was Rick and my song.
Oh.
And I hear my girls crying behind the curtain.
I know they are. Yeah.
And she zips up that dress, and they open the curtain, and everybody's like, that's it. And Rick had said, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Our entire relationship.
You can't make this stuff up.
You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
The Edgar Allan Poe Speakeasy, Chapter 2, descends upon Anthem Stories on Austin Avenue on October 16th and 18th, inviting guests into a world where the line between living and literary blurs with every sip. Guests can expect about 90 minutes of immersive theater, dramatic recitation, and mixology that borders on alchemy. On Thursday, October 16th, the Waco Movie Club is checking guests into the Overlook Hotel for one night only with a chilling discussion of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining inside the Encore at Waco Hippodrome. The conversation begins at about 7:30, right about the time the lights start to flicker and the shadows in the corner get a little too friendly. But it won't just be movie talk either. Adam, the ghost guy from Raz's Tours, will be in the house to share tales of local hauntings and lead a short ghost tour through the Hippodrome Theater. Guests are encouraged to rewatch The Shining beforehand, so when someone says, "Here's Johnny," you're ready to dive into what it all means. Finally, American Bank of Waco is hosting a trunk or treat on Tuesday, October 28th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the parking lot of their Belmead branch. They had a wonderful community turnout last year, and they are so excited to see you all again. I'm Elizabeth Riley with your Act Locally Waco News, and I'll see you next time.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It is all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
Tasmanian spring water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself, packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid, fermented sea kelp to reduce redness, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ulike.com. You like.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone anywhere. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
I had wanted God front and center at that wedding.
Oh yeah.
I needed everyone in that chapel to feel the presence of God.
No question.
And to feel the warmth of God in this relationship. And all the way from Holly Tucker,
she was
agreeing
fabulous.
to sing, and the
she was
song
so
choices that even my girls were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I need this to happen." And it happened exactly the way I had it in my brain.
But then the fun of when people were coming in.
I know, right? My adult sons being flower girls, and which he didn't know was going to happen, which I knew he would be emotional. So I wanted, but it just was.
It was just delightful.
Oh, it
was delightful.
It was perfect.
Well, I could not be happier for the two of you.
Thank you.
To have felt like I walked every step of the way with you with Rick's illness and. Something as bizarre as catching the flu.
Crazy.
And so So you never know.
You
Life
never
is
know.
short.
You never
And we're,
know.
we're given a measure of days, and we have to do with that what we really feel like God is telling us to do.
Well, and being open to, and making sure your relationship with God is solid.
Yeah.
And being open, like I said, there came a point in time, and I got to tell you, and I want to share this one poignant moment. Because I work a program of recovery every day. I'm an active member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I get to do that for the rest of my life. I have a sponsor, same sponsor for 13 and a half years. And there came a point in time where she didn't know I had been talking to anybody, right? And there came a point in time where he saw this way sooner than I saw this relationship. He said he knew we were going to be married from the very, very beginning. I was a slower warm up, but once I got to think, oh my gosh, maybe because he lives 1,400 miles away.
I was going to say, this was not.
I'm not moving. I've got my family had anyway. And I made the appointment with my sponsor for a lunch appointment, and I needed to tell her. And see, she's the kind of person who would go, Kristine, we need to keep our feet on the ground, our head out of the clouds. This is too soon. I was fully expecting that. And he knew through our conversations, which we had talked one day for 9 hours, 9 hours on a telephone. And he knew how important this sponsor was to me.
Sure.
And I sat down across from her, and she leaned in and she said, what's different? And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, you're in love. I said, that's ridiculous. What? And anyway, I ended up telling her about Vernon and the, again, quote, coincidences that had been occurring. And she looked at me and she said, what other confirmations do you need? Why aren't you leaning into this? Why are you rejecting what God is trying to give you? Who are you? Who do you think you are? God's saying, I have something beautiful for you. And you're saying it's too soon. No, I'm not ready. What more confirmation? She said, if you need more confirmation, here I am.
Yeah.
You need to lean in and find out what this is about.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So through tears, I drove home and I called him and I said, all right, I'm willing to lean in. And so here we are.
So you're splitting time between Maryland and Texas?
We are. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's beautiful lives in both places.
Yeah.
And as long as God allows us and affords us the capability, we're going back and forth. We're going back and forth, and it's a beautiful thing. And we hope to expand with his ministry. He's been an ordained minister for
a long time.
A long time. And the way that I can reach people is on different levels. I always I've said all along, he's college level faith, I'm finger painting faith, right? and which is where I'm most comfortable and where I can reach people that have had addiction problems. And putting our ministries together, imagine what could happen with that.
Oh, I think the Lord's got some amazing things ahead.
I can't wait.
For the two of you. Your story is just, words fail me. Remarkable doesn't even do it justice. It is inspirational, though.
Uh-huh.
And it is hopeful. I think that's the thing. I can't imagine going through what both of you have gone through and losing. Mike and I coming on 50 years married, and I can't even fathom what that would be like. But we all just walk in the faith that God knows our days. He knows what's coming our way, and life is good.
Life is so good. Even when it's bad, life
Even
is
when it's
so
bad.
good.
Right.
That hope is the key word.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have hope and trust that God's plan is he will make. And this is where I was able to really see that verse, how true that verse is, that God will make all things work for the good for those who love and follow.
And that's a strong scripture, because when Jeanette passed, I thought I would never marry again.
Right.
At 42 years, I just wouldn't. But I was angry with God because I had, lost my son also. And I felt like God was just taking everything from me.
Yeah, feeling like Job a little bit.
I mean, it was, when my son passed at 21 years old, one of the top basketball players in the country in college basketball, had his whole life ahead of him. My life really came to a screeching halt that day. And and then when my wife passed 9 years later, he passed in 2013 and my wife passed in 2022. So 9 years later, I can remember there were like 40 or 50 people at my home that night, and she passed early in the morning the next day. And I can just remember I walked out on my front porch and I looked up at the heavens, and I beat my chest. And I screamed at the top of my lungs to God. I said, "What else do you want from me?" And, it was just, my life went a way that I didn't think it would ever go, and God, but through it all, God was with me and carried me, and they were difficult, really, really difficult times. Loss is something, you just never get a handle on. It's, death is something that, we don't handle it. It gets a hold of us, and it's like a finality, if you will. And, of course, we know that, the believers in heaven, and I'm going to see them again one day.
Absolutely.
But, and I'm excited about that. But it was it was a tough road because I had devoted my life to God, and I felt like God was letting me down.
Yeah.
Where are you? And I did. I felt just like Job. Not at the same level. Job buried 10 children in one day. I buried one. And but I can only imagine that pain, and to a degree. I mean, I tasted a part of that, and but God is good.
Yeah.
God is good.
He is. He's a good father, for sure.
Amen to that.
Parting thoughts?
Something really beautiful that's going to happen. And when Rick passed away, he wanted to be cremated, and together I was supposed to take him to Florida. We love Sanibel Island, Florida. That's our heaven. And we had said we wanted our ashes taken, and so I had planned to take his ashes to Sanibel, and a hurricane hit, and we weren't able to go. So the kids and I took his ashes down to Port Aransas, which was his second place favorite place to go. And but I reserved some of him, if you will, in a small urn, because, and this was early on before Vernon and I were a thing, that I knew I wanted, because Rick had prescribed a man to me that I had yet to meet, right?
Right.
Who knew when that was going to happen? But I knew
he was
that
I
have
the
wanted
same birthday though.
Right. I knew I wanted to release the rest of those ashes with the person that he had prescribed for me, and then Vernon. And Saturday we leave for Sanibel Island, Vernon and I, to take Rick's ashes to Sanibel, and release them together. And have that come full circle.
Closure.
Yeah. So I'm real excited about that.
Oh,
it's gonna be, and the one of the most beautiful things about our relationship is the love and respect we have for each other's previous spouses.
Oh, absolutely.
Just and that it's just
came through in the
beautiful
wedding.
thing. Yes,
crystal clear.
A beautiful thing. That is, people seem to think that that's rare, and it's just like that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be, but it's just, I can't wait to see what else God has lined up for us. We're willing and to do his work.
Yeah. Pastor Vernon, give you the last word.
I'm excited about the future. I know God has got something that's going to be worked up that's going to be great for his glory. I am, just I love my Lord and Savior, and I'm thankful every day that I get to spend a day with her, and we're looking for great things to happen.
Yeah,
great things.
Amen.
Blessings on you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
For being here. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
You can't trust everybody, but you can trust Rogue Media Network for all of your podcasting needs. From recording to distribution, we've got your back, even if I didn't have his.
The backyard in Waco has great vibes, good food, good drinks, big name artists, and now new owners.
We've had this going for 10 years strong. We made it through COVID. We made it through a lot of challenges and stuff. But we've all got a lot of irons in the fire. None of us are spring chickens anymore. So some other entrepreneurs that are really into live music and wanting to promote live music, we're looking to kind of spread their wings further out into Texas. And just was a really good deal for us, a great offer. One of the things we really vetted these guys beforehand was, what kind of changes are you going to make? And the changes are going to be very minimal. The name will stay the same. The staff will stay the same. They just have a vision for a better customer experience and for some more artists. So it's just a really smart move for them. But we really just wanted to make sure that they were going to kind of keep the thing that we've built going and stay true to what this place has been.
The full story on the ownership change can be found on kcentv.com.